Hi everyone. Um, Thanks for making it out today. I know it's harder to make it out to things these days, so I really appreciate that. I know a lot of you are still pretty upset with me, and that's fair, so I'm gonna try to make this quick. And I've never done one of these before, so just bear with me. So, first things first, my brother Paul was pretty stupid. I think that goes without saying. I wrote some stuff down about growing up with him. Paul and I were very close growing up. Especially after our mom passed, he really stepped up to the plate and wouldn't let me get bogged down by anything. He dropped out of school and started washing dishes so that we could keep the old apartment. He had to grow up really fast, all of a sudden. He would take me to school and pick me up, take me shopping. We didn't have a lot of money back then, but Paul never really talked about that. And in return, I never complained about having Kraft dinner every night. Paul was a really funny guy, and a lot of people loved him. I wrote some other stuff here about how he helped put me through the craft college and stuff like that. And I think that's the kind of thing that you want out of a eulogy. But I feel like that's kind of letting him off the hook. Letting myself off the hook a little bit too. You know, for the last few weeks, people have been asking me nonstop, and like strangers over social media keep asking me, how could you have been so relaxed about the virus? And the truth is, Paul and I spend a lot of time online. I don't know when we started going on 4chan or any of those pages, but it was pretty early on. It's where we found a lot of our sense of humor and our friends growing up. And it was fun to go online and be who you wanted to be, you know? And a lot of the people in our actual life didn't like that we spent so much time on there. But you know, the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of the stuff that you see on those pages, especially the conspiracy stuff, it's just people trying to get a rise out of you, right? You're not supposed to take any of it seriously. So we saw a lot of COVID conspiracy meme stuff. We made some memes too. Some Bill Gates, QAnon stuff. But Paul was always a lot more into that side of it than I ever was, like the government conspiracy stuff. I was just into like talking to my friends over Discord and trolling people and stuff like that. But Paul was just obsessed with, you know, politics and tracking how popular his memes got and stuff like that. He made this one Bernie Sanders meme that you guys probably saw. It was Bernie in a mask saying, "I'm once again asking for your civil liberties." He thought that was pretty funny. And that one got 60,000 shares, so I guess some other people thought so too. I had never heard of a COVID party until Paul sent me this Instagram post. The game of the whole thing is that one of the people that you invite over already had COVID, and none of the other people coming know who that was. And when you come to the door, you put some money in a pot, and if you're the first person to catch symptoms, you get the pot. So the more people that you invite over, the bigger the pot gets. So as you know, we had one of these in the apartment. And I was really against it at first. I told Paul it was a stupid idea and that no one was even going to want to come to one of these because people were too freaked out by the virus. But, he was cool about it, like he always was. He said I should view it as a huge middle finger to anyone trying to stop us from living our lives. He told me that people would kill for a party. And, he chipped me down like crazy. He just kept saying the whole virus thing was overhyped anyway. And I agreed with him on that, but I still had a bad feeling about it. And I did say yes to it, but that was because he put me in charge of inviting the COVID patient, which turned out to be a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We had this friend in Moncton who had just recovered, and we hadn't seen them for a while, so... And that made me feel better about the whole thing, because I could just watch them all night and stay away from them, and I'd be fine. When everyone talks about what my brother and I did, no one talks about how many other parties were happening at the same time. Like on Facebook and everything, I saw all these parties, and even if they were COVID parties, like one or two people got sick, and then they're in the hospital for a week, and then they're back on their feet and everything's fine. So it didn't feel like that big of a deal. Paul won the pot. There was $230 in there. He had some symptoms in a couple days, and by the end of the week, he had the test to prove it. Now we know that he wasn't the only person to get sick. So far, he has been the first one to pass away. We had over 100 people over, and they all went back home to their families. That party helped us get back to the orange zone. Higgs said so. So I didn't see Paul for a while after that. The hospital was on lockdown like crazy. And then a few days ago, I got a call saying that he wasn't doing too well. So I taxied over, and he was there behind this pane of glass, like a foot thick, and I didn't even recognize him. He lost so much weight, and he was covered in all these wires. He saw me from the corner of his eye, and I looked to him, and he looked really scared. Which was weird because I had never seen him scared before. And I wanted to go over and just talk to him to let him know that he wasn't alone. And it was Paul, you know? It was our Paul, who played games with me, and who would fight me, and who beat up my bullies, and there he was. He couldn't move anymore. He just looked like a baby. He couldn't even talk. And he didn't have to be there. We put him in there. I don't know how long I stood there for after he passed, but it was long enough to hate what we did and to hate who we were. And I'm not telling you any of this to make you feel sorry for me or Paul. I'm just telling you this because that's how I felt in the hospital, and that's how I feel right now, and that's how I'm gonna feel about it for the rest of my life. I hate what we did. I moved back into the old apartment, and I went through 50 cans of Lysol cleaning it up. I wear a mask in there now, and I never wore a mask before, so that's new. And on the counter there is this pot with $230 in it. I thought about throwing it out. I don't know what to do with that. So if one of you wants to come by and pick that up, that'd actually be a huge help for me. You know, part of me is just screaming at myself to get out of there and to try to forget about this and just try to move on. And I sweat through 2 shirts before I came out to talk to you, because I hate what we did so much, and I wanted so badly to be forgiven. And I thought that if I thought about this for long enough, I could explain why we thought that this would be funny. And if I could explain it, you would all hate me a little less. But if I were sitting where you were, I wouldn't forgive me. So, I think all I can do now is just try to be better. Not to be forgiven, but just for myself and for Paul and for everyone else who got wrapped up in what we did. I think that's all I can do. So, yeah. Thanks.